Hi, everybody. This is a reminder to stay safe, social distance during a quarantine. Today, we're going to look at a what I'll call Everyman's collection. One I really like, a lot of variety, and a lot of interesting watches in it. Okay, the first couple we're going to look at are a couple of Tudors, and they're both Tudor Black Bay. One is it's called the S&G, and the other is the Black Bay 58 39 millimeters. One of the things, some of these watches are Pim's wife's watches, but he put them together. And so, like, for example, the Seiko automatic is Diver's watch. It's 36 millimeters. That belongs to his wife. But I'm not going to stop every one of these and say, oh, this is his wife or this is Pim's. I think they're great together. So we'll be taking a look at them that way. All right. Here are the Seikos. There's a Turtle, Prospect, and Divers. And these watches are sort of just solid, good everyday watches. And it's hard to say much about any one of them as something about them that is super special, except for this. And those are the bracelets. Of course, the styles are different. They're all, and then notice that there's a 4 o'clock winder on the Turtle and also on the Diver. The first one and the last one. The Prospect in the middle has a 3 o'clock winder, but otherwise these are three pretty standard watches. Hard to really say too much about them. Now, these next two, I could go on a lot about it. My usual, the IWC Ingenu, I said it wrong, I'm sorry, but this is an IWC watch. It's called Outlet, has the caliber 3110, which is an ETA 2892 base. I read a review of this watch, and the reviewer really liked the watch. I like it too. And what he said I thought was very interesting. He said, he pointed out they put the ETA 2892 in there. He didn't say they called it something else, but they did. But he said it would cost $600 more to put one of the IWC in-house movements in there. Okay, that's a lot of money. Oh, wait a minute, it wasn't 600, it was 6,000, $6,000 more. Why not just say you got an ETA-based IWC caliber? Make it easier for everyone, because if you're paying $6,000 less, you're paying for a lesser movement, which is fine with me, but at least tell people what it is. So that's, I don't want to go on about companies that don't always let everyone know exactly what's in them. Now this one, this Omega Speedmaster, this has got the original, or very close to the original movement into it. The Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch. Love this watch. 42 millimeter Hesalite instead of the sapphire glass on it. Really like that a lot. Now, these next two are two Rolexes. And the Rolex on the left is the Purple Oyster Perpetual. I've seen this for sale a lot in a lot of different places. And you know what? I like it. It's called a grape, the Oyster Perpetual grape. I like Oyster Perpetual. This next one, the date just next to it, it has a linen base to it, and the linen on the dial. It has sort of this linen backdrop to it, and it's a very nice watch, and it belongs to it is his wife's watch. It's 36 millimeter, which helps. And in looking at it, it would be I think it'd be a very comfortable ladies' watch that you could sort of dress up a little with. I like it. Okay, now moving right along, we get into what is my absolute favorite watch in Pim's collection. And it's the kind of watch that I would really like to go thinking about getting one for myself. It's a Roger Dubuis Excalibur, and it's fun, and the caliber in it is called the RD 620. I'll be taking a look at that in a little while. This watch is just the only way I can say is that if you look at the dial, it's very dramatic. What looks like just a bunch of lines around there, a bunch of index lines that are scattered around, are actually Roman numerals for the uh, 12 indicators. And at 9 o'clock, there's this great big sub-second, and this is really a very nice watch. I really like it a lot, and I think it's a watch worth having. Like I said, I'll get to that in a second. Now, next to it is the Zenith Elite Ultra Thin. I have the Zenith Elite GMT, and I just love it. It's like an old friend. It's reliable. You don't have to worry about it. But this one, the one that Pim has, I think is extremely attractive. I like the thin ones, and the Zenith Elite is always, sort of covered under the El Primero and all of the whiz bang stuff coming out of Defy Labs. But these are watches that are often overlooked, undervalued, and great buys. Now, going back to that Roger Dubuis, there was one I was interested in, and when Roger Dubuis first, he and his partner, what his name was, they first got started, they used a lot of other people's movements, but not on this one. This one is a very nice one. It has the Ponte Genève and the Geneva seal. This is a really nice movement. I really like that little micro rotor. I wish, but then they have these great big plates. I wish I could see more of the movement. But this is a super duper watch, I think. And again, because of the movement that I like so much. Okay. Now, here are two. These are both limited editions, and they both are watches I really like. That I normally certain features I normally don't like, but on these two they have features I like. First of all, I don't know why, but I'm just nuts about Doxas. I don't have one, but every time I see one, I like them. I like the orange ones. I really like these sort of rice grain silver bracelets they have on them, or stainless steel bracelets. This is the Doxa Sub 200, and the big old orange second hand. But I always think of orange when I think of Doxa. But I like this one. There's something about them that just sort of like, something very likable about them. Now, Corum is one of those funny luxury watches from, I think Seiko makes them, and they have some wonderfully interesting watches, but they're sort of harder to find. Now, generally, I'm not crazy about skeletonized in the front. Some I like, most I don't. This one I do, and it is so interesting the way they do it. They have, it's do a quick look at the time. I don't know if you could tell time with this thing. But the way the dates are done, they have these hollowed out letters on a date wheel that goes around, and then at the current date they show up at 6 o'clock. And in the meantime, you're looking at all the works and things going on. This is, to me, this is a fun watch. Again, this was a limited edition, and I think they're limited to 25, and Pim got number 25. So this is another watch I like a lot. Now, these two guys, the Freeze 3-carat diamond world mother of pearl watch. This is a quartz watch. I'm not sure exactly how it works in terms of a world. I don't know. In fact, I don't even know if it is a world timer, but it is interesting. You've got 3 carats worth of diamonds on there around the bezel, and then you have that big strap. This is just it's just an interesting watch. I mean, just in and of itself. Look at this. What is that? All jeweled. They have South America and Africa and Europe and parts of North America. All on mother of pearl. It's sort of a heck of a fun watch to have. And then they have next to it a Nemar 300 meter. I have not heard of a Nemar, and I don't know what it is. It has a certain look to it that looks somewhat familiar that people will start ranting and raving about, but that's okay. Sort of a lot of other brands. But this is just, I like the color green. It's sort of an olive green, and I don't know. This is something about, when you have some, I think every collection needs some watches that people see and they say, oh, I shouldn't have this, but I'm going to get it anyway. It's got a quartz movement or something goofy with it. Uh, this is, these are likable watches. Now, the final two, the Omega Constellation, this particular one is Pim's wife's, and it's mother of pearl dial to it, quartz, and it's hard to describe this watch in terms of, it's not overly formal, but it's not informal. It's somewhere in between there. It's just sort of, like I said, it's very interesting. You just look at it, and then you have those big Roman numerals around the bezel, and then you have the index markers on inside, and it's perfectly round. So interesting watch. Now the Cartier Santos Galabi is another one that is really, really very interesting. This one is both of these, I think, are part of his wife's collection. And the Santos design, I think, is one of the most interesting ones in Cartier. It's really, I mean, to me, the collection looks like this. It looks like I want this watch. I don't care what anybody thinks. I know the quality of it. But mainly I know what it is for oneself, one's collector. And so this is sort of the sense I get out of this collection. This is Everyman's collection, and the man in this case is Pim. So listen, I want to thank Pim. I want to thank Pim's wife for this, and like to hear what your comments are, any suggestions you have for Pim. Everybody stay safe. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the Art and Science of Watch Collection.